welcome everybody. We're gonna delve deeper into the latest and greatest advancements in the recruitment and staffing space pertaining to sales hiring and tech hiring. I'm Raj Tomer, and we have John Nolitt and Srini today along with us. These are the experts in the HR and the AI field. And let me just take you ahead. Hey, hey. So we want every sales and technology to dream big, and but they cannot function on their own. They need a very strong support from the talent acquisition and HR teams to grow the organizations fast. And no matter how good a company is at strategy or defining a business model, a use case on this application, but at the end of the day, the execution is the king. And who executes? People. People will execute on your strategy. If the sales team you're hired isn't delivering, all your money, time, and effort has gone to waste. Correct? And execution and your strategy is the part of your leadership. So the organization requires strategy to provide based on their from the intelligence and market industry and knowledge from the growth of the business, but revenue may convert the right people that you've got on board. And this is where time and again we keep on emphasizing to find the right people for the right jobs. So right people, right roles, and who are the people who bring so many people to any organization? That's talent acquisition people, right? Or the HR teams. So we want to empower talent acquisition and HR people using the tools and technology of today, right, to empower you to increase your hiring. Velocity on one side to find thousands of people to touch base within thousands immediately in one day. And on the other side, once you have a strong pipeline, how do you evaluate these people very quickly? And that's basically where the technology parts come into play and the assessments come into play. And we're here to help. So I'm gonna show you one interesting snippet from a report from Gartner. This is the recruiting innovation bullseye. If you could take a look, it has three circles. The number one is embedded, number two is adapting, and number three is experimenting. If you talk about the embedded circle, that's the inner circle. That's where like, most of the corporations have already embedded those systems within them. And they've created four quadrants, four parts on the top right hand side: assessments and selection. And on the right hand side, bottom, you see candidates and a new hire engagement. On the left hand side, you see sourcing and lead generation. And on the top, hiring management tools. So we've weighed ourselves and we did dig deeper into it. But what are the new technologies? What are going ahead in the talent acquisition space? If you look at these three quadrants, bottom left, how do you find the candidates? I'd like you to take a look, all of you, so that you can tell me what have you gone through, like what have you already tried your hands on, or your organization have tried to do that. And yeah, you can mention your questions or insights on the comment sections for us. And so the if you look at these three quadrants, the bottom left, how do you find the candidates? And then how do you evaluate the candidates? And once you onboard them, how do you train the candidates? Let me discuss about different technologies going ahead in this. So finding the candidate, if you look at it, recruiting marketing platforms, employee referrals, LinkedIn recruiter job boards, which is embedded on the bottom left corner. But you get success with that? I'm sure not so much. So it gives you some help, but still it's a very manual, time consuming process. And then adapting once our people are using search engine or Facebook or some employer new website or some networks, etc. And then finally, the ones with the companies are experimenting are the virtual events and geolocation tagging, out of which we've picked the virtual events as one of the best ways. and like that I can hold similar virtual events on any of the positions I'm trying to hire right now, and that could be very quick. So I can do this on a daily, monthly, weekly basis. Now let's talk about, and I will show you how are we doing the finding where we are reaching out to thousands of candidates, all passive candidates, in just one day or within a week using data mining and AI. So that's where Srini is going to help us. He's the expert in the AI field here. So let me hand it over to John. John, if you could provide us deeper insights about what you've been working on.
Hey, Raj, is this being recorded?
Oh, yes, Jesse, it's on record.
Thanks.
Hi there. My name is John Nolitt. I have 35 plus years in talent acquisition, and I've been part of executive leadership teams in HR, typically reporting to an executive vice president or senior vice president of HR. I've been in companies such as Motorola, Intel, Cadence Design Systems, and Oracle for 20 plus years, where both in Cadence and Oracle, I designed the blueprint for recruiting. I scaled Oracle's recruiting from 1 employee to 700 in 40 different countries. So I had people in 40 different countries. We hired anywhere from 20 and, near the end of my time at Oracle, 28,000 people a year. So 25 to 28,000. So the demand for people was obviously intense, and we had to deliver on all cylinders. What I've noticed over the years is how much technology has played in from where we started out to I've seen the metamorphosis over to where we are today and what we're talking about. So just to kind of frame this up to get started, I've got a couple of factoids that I've kind of listed out there. Some of this you may know already, but just kind of to reinforce kind of what's going on in the technology field. So right now, talent leaders expect Gen AI adoption to accelerate in the year ahead as recruiting teams gain a better understanding how technology can be leveraged in multiple ways, from sourcing candidates to personalized outreach. The top benefits of Gen AI tools are automating the task to spend time on more fulfilling work, what you can do. 45% of the people believe that. 41% believe that Gen AI tools will improve overall productivity, and 35% of the talent acquisition people believe Gen AI tools will increase faster and easier engagement with particular candidates. And then finally, 73% of talent acquisition professionals say hiring based on skills is a definite priority. So that's kind of setting the stage for this. So what you're looking at right here is a model I created couple decades ago, actually. If you look at any business process, they all can be divided into this. And it's something I thought about, and I applied it to talent acquisition space, based all my data and metrics off of this for operations to provide value. So you have time, so you want to shorten the cycle times down. Obviously, time is money, so you shorten the costs, and we know we can either improve the bottom line or what we're doing to increase the top line, actually hiring sales representatives. Quality, I'm sure you've heard it many times. I want the best of the best. And then if you have to scale up quantity. So if you can, when you start measuring your business process, you can bring all 4 of these together to a value optimization, depending on where you're at in the stages in the process. So it's something to keep in mind, and you can define actual metrics versus going to a CFO or CEO or an executive and saying, yeah, we're doing really good. That doesn't fly anymore. And companies are streamlined. Companies are really looking tightly at the bottom and top lines. And therefore, you'd have to implement a model like this. All right, Raj, next slide. So the other piece so if you take that model and you apply it against, there's really 6 distinct areas that can be measured in the recruitment process. You should segment it each. One's obviously identification, going to the marketplace. Then you have to recruit people, but once you recruit them in, right, through any mechanism you use, and we're talking today about the AI and the data mining, then you qualify them, and that would be through profiling, again, using AI, and then evaluating them in an interview process physically, and then offering, and then closing. All right. So if we take a look at the executive search process, there's really 5 steps in it. So you have to do data mining based on your search criteria or the candidate search criteria that you're looking for. And then you use both the AI engine to prioritize those candidates that you reached out to, and also a massive cold email outreach. So let me give you an example. Let's say you're looking for a sales executive in either New York or London or Geneva or wherever you happen to be. And so you want to be able to identify the best of the best, obviously, and the recruitment team only has a certain amount of time. So you cannot go out there to the market and really identify everybody that's in that market. But this particular process will be able to do that, pull that in. You can use the AI engine then to prioritize those candidates in conjunction with the mass outreach to that entire market. And then for free, really, you can take a sales IQ assessment to the individuals that you want to reach out to, either from the outreach or the AI prioritization, and you can get assessments back pre-interview. So you actually understand a better level of the candidate, and you're not wasting your time on individuals that you would have no interest in any particular way, shape, or form. And then eventually you're going to go through using the computer vision and AI to interview them. Now, Srini will be able to talk to and help you with step 1, step 2, and step 5. And Raj and myself, actually, we work on the step 3 and the step 4 process.
Yes. And John, I think I'd like to introduce Srini first of all. Srini, if you could give a short description about you, introduce yourself to our esteemed guests today.
Yeah. Thank you, Raj. Thanks, John. So I'm Srini Chilkuri. I'm the founder and CEO for Tensorgo Software. We are a deep learning company where we work on the deep neural networks and the customization of that as well. I have 25 plus years of experience working on the deep learning part of it. If you ever heard about Mortal Kombat, which is one of the popular game, or the top 10 game in the world. So I'm the producer for that. Also producer for Dance Central and Joyride, which are the Xbox Connect games. So we work, we enable the various other enterprises to build the deep learning applications without having much knowledge of them as well. To just like drag and drop or connecting some of the APIs and working on it. Yeah. Thank you. Over to you, Raj.
Awesome. So, John, I'm gonna put it to the next slide and let you take it over.
Okay, great. So this describes one of the steps in the process, the data mining. So you can reduce your time to hire. So you can reach out to a mass market through data mining, which you wouldn't be able to do with, a number of recruiters, and or if you're limited on your staff, or you have to scale dramatically. So this actually will do this automatically for you. And obviously it'll reduce your time to hire and prospecting the market significantly. And then at the same time, you're going to use the AI engine to prioritize those people that you've reached out to or that you've actually identified in the marketplace through the data mining. And there's specific proprietary algorithms to that. So again, you can, put the cream at the top of the milk, basically, in this situation to identify that. And then finally, the massive cold mail outreach, which is in conjunction with the prioritization. So again, you're not eliminating anybody, you're reaching out to everyone, but then you also have a priority pool. So you can make your own decisions based on how you want to reach out with, your profiling, which we're going to be talking to in a second here. And then finally, you have the sales assessments. And this actually is a detailed way to look at your candidates so you can make the decision of how you want to interview or who you want to prioritize the interview. Again, saving you time. Obviously, your customer base who's actually doing the hiring, they're going to want to see the best of the best, and you're going to be able to do that. So I'll let Raj go through a little more detail what those sales assessments look like.
Sure. So this is how the report looks like for the IT sales IQ assessment report. We go through the full sales cycle. We provide insights on the prospecting abilities of the candidate, qualification, the discovery, the solution, the negotiating, the closing. If I'll show you one of the examples. So this particular candidate was sourced with from a pool of 100 candidates within 3 days, and if you could see, he scored 20% on negotiation, which is a very good number. This is like every single uh, aspect of the sales is marked to the maximum of 20%. And if we compare it with the prospecting, which is 15%, where they scored, that's a very good combination, one of the rarest ones, where the person is very good at prospecting and negotiation and closing as well. So that's basically how it looks. We've got insights on the prospecting aspects of what he could do, the qualification, the discovery, solution, negotiation, close. So these are the type of reports that we're trying to talk about. Let me take you back to the original slideshow.
One thing I'd like to mention here that I didn't was on the massive email outreach. So you're reaching out to obviously passive candidates, people that aren't current job seekers. So obviously that's a better market to reach. And as well, it's a proprietary cold outreach, email outreach through a proprietary CRM. So if you're using other things like MailChimp, for instance, you can get blocked, right? So this is make sure that every email is going to every candidate, and that's done through this proprietary CRM system.
And we can always help you to set up something for like this for your own organization. So moving forward, we'd like to invite Srini. Srini, this is the interview using AI and computer vision. Little bit of insights on this. These are the intelligent interview tools that we have suggested could be used.
Yeah, thank you, Raj. So, so one of the, I mean, like we actually work on the deep neural networks, which means that we could really develop various other applications, and one of those is this product. Which what happens is that, let me quickly share my screen and show you the demo of the product. Right. So this basically what happens is we can connect to Zoom, WebEx, Google Meet, or Teams kind of an application, and get the video with the analysis with the AI. For example, let me take one of the video which has already been taken from here. So now this is actually directly loading directly from the Zoom. And whenever the conversation is happening out, the application can really understand.
On the call tonight.
Sorry, the application can really understand who the participants are, what is the participation level. Not only that, it can also provide the emotions of the participant. For example, now the subject or the person that we want to analyze is Amelia. Let's say like she is the one who has actually applied for a position, and in the interface, you would like to observe the candidate, which is part of it. So when you go to that, it actually provides you right here. So it actually provides you what's approximate age, demographic profile, the emotions part of it. And not only that, we also know the heart rate variation, stress levels, respiration rate, and the truthfulness index as well too. And all of this happens only through the camera and also with the audio part of it as well. And now there's another one that we also introduced, which is something like a lip sync. What happens is that in the recent times we have seen it, I mean, especially during the COVID times, when people are working from home, most of the people used to be in front of the camera. Somebody was actually doing the lip sync, and somebody who's behind the camera was actually doing all the talking as well. So you could always identify if the same person is talking or not, how truthful the person is there, what is it, where they are looking at it, on the screen, and a lot more. And also we can also identify if the same person has joined or not with the biometrics, which is a voice biometrics and the face biometrics. And we take these biometrics well before any of the process as well too. And you can always get the conversation that have it up here, the meeting notes, action items, and more than that, you could also get a various other analytics as well in it. And now the newest version, what we have is basically something like This where you have something like a city kind of one, where you click on it and you can ask the questions for it and it starts answering you and provides you the whole information in the real-time manner. And now you don't have to even switch the windows from to another window. So we also have a Chrome extension where it can be, can embed it within the browser. And whenever the conversation is happening out, it starts providing the nudges as well. He said, like, keep finding. So now you ask this question, the candidate seems to be pretty convincing. Maybe you want to, I can provide these kind of information, and it actually makes sure that the conversation is very interactive and productive. Yeah, that's it from my side.
Amazing, Srini. Amazing. Also, I'd like to let you know that today we are going to share a free assessment with you, so you can try it or you can use to do a sales audit for your team. So that's going to be there. Abhay, if you could share it on the chat box itself. And John, do you have anything else that you want to share, or we can open this for questions?
I mean, just one kind of final parting thought on my end. I think, as we all know, in HR/talent acquisition, the demands are significant, and I know, and it's funny. I've never had it. When I first started my career, we used to have this A, B, and C prioritization of requisitions or open headcount. Said I've never found any manager that wanted to hire someone like 3 months from now. Like, it's always yesterday, right? So those demands are increasing. The cost pressure being put on and the proof of value point for the organization is immense. And you want to be the best of the best. And obviously the demand for talent has increased exponentially. So I think those combinations require some special activity and technology to be employed to make things better. And like I said, I've always tried to employ the latest in technology, and it's always worked to my favor, and to the organization's favor. I think that's more importantly. And you want to be able to go into an organization with executives or the department and explain what you're doing in a clear, concise way, quantifiably, and show exactly the value that, what you're doing and the tools you're using to bring to the party to make their job better and enhance their department.
That's definitely true and to the point, John. So we'll just about to close this. Before, we would like you to ask us any question that you might have. Mark, Narayan, and Miguel. Just saw Meeta Crawford also join in. So yeah, everybody, we're looking forward for you to ask anything that you want. And yeah, go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, so I think when you're talking about the 1,000 resumes per day or candidates per day, just to clarify, where is that coming from? Because, in the ATS that the organization uses, they send out the 15 job boards. So you're getting candidates that are either seeing your post or are actively looking. I'm more interested in the passive market, especially around sales. So kind of just dig a little deeper into the passive market, step 3 or step 1, where we're identifying it, and then when we're connecting.
Got it. John, would you like to add something, or should I? Mark.
Yeah, Raj, go ahead, take it. You can start there. Yeah.
So it's the step 1 that we told you about. It's data mining to reach 100x candidates. So first of all, we pass this data and we identify the right type of people. Sometimes we buy the data as well, and then we prioritize them using the AI engine. So you've got like the top cream, and at the same time, parallelly, we reach out with a massive cold outreach, right? Like, this is for 4,000, 5,000 people in a single go. So all the passive people that are there, they would also be targeted. And at the same time, since to improve the quality, you've done the AI engine based prioritization, and then you move ahead, give them all the assessments to take them. And since they are IT and software sales skills based and personality based assessments, you can exactly identify who are good fit for the position, and who are the ones that you'd like to interview from this large set of people that we've outreached and might have shown interest. And then we can use the AI and computer vision technologies to have a much more fruitful interview, providing all the data insights that are required to make a proper decision. And yeah, Mark.
So this is
Yes, Mark.
So this is global, and it could be drilled down on, the top 20 major cities in the U.S. For example, when you're doing your step 2, if you will, just kind of getting the prioritization of what you want to see. It may be geographic, and then there's SaaS sales in a specific vertical or a specific number of years or whatever it might be. So all that's taken into consideration on the front end, and then all this data is put in to then find a list in those geographic locations, whether it be international or US.
Exactly. And again, the cold email outreach is parallelly with the AI engine to prioritize. So you're not missing out on anybody. You're reaching out to all the people that we found out through the data mining, and the prioritization is running simultaneously with the massive outreach. John, would you like to add something to this?
Well, the only thing I'd say, Mark, to your point here too, in the basic data mining, back in the day, recruiters were doing Boolean searches, if you recall, or you're aware of that, right? So now we can use technology, right, to do proprietary algorithms that do much more massive determination of how to grab anything that's out there, right, and pull it in. So you can't do that as a human being. I mean, you can only do so much, and you can't think of every parameter. So that's the difference in terms of using the technology to really get that massive 3,000, 4,000, whatever those numbers are. And then obviously you start shrinking it down based on your requirements, like you were mentioning. So I think that's the key to understand. And you can do this fast, right? You don't have to have a person sitting for 16 hours, and they may not capture everything that they should be doing. So there's still someone sitting out there that you're not aware of, but you want that person. So that's where the technology comes into it's, immensely powerful, I would say.
Yeah, this is funny. This is Jesse, Mark. I saw your comment. Couldn't stop myself to comment. Yes, the largest companies in the world are still using the Boolean search, the manual way of reaching out. And you will be so surprised, Mark. There are so many different sources of data, free and paid data sets. Even if you look at the government websites, the federal websites in the United States and the world over, and I believe Srini can help you identify so many data sets which are free. That's the only thing what people like Srini do. So they are the free data sets available, and then there are the paid data sets available. So I remember talking to one of the data suppliers, they have their own data lakes. They have close to around 7 billion records in case anybody wants to use globally for talent acquisition.
Wonderful, thank you. And Srini, you'll get this perfect. Anyways.
Thank you, Mark.
Mortal Kombat.
Actually, Srini is also part of one of the biggest animation movies in India right now. So,
Chadabim, yeah.
yeah.
So we're helping the company in terms of providing the voice and also the characters generated with AI.
Great. So there's like actually a huge use case for these intelligent interview tools right now, especially like people read some stuff out of their documents when they're in interviews, and the eye gazing tool really helps with that as well. And the truthfulness meter, it's a patented research that they've acquired from one of the US universities, and to put it into use with during an interview, it's really helpful.
Right, I had a question.
Yeah.
This has been very helpful, and in fact, Jesse and I had spoken sometime, I think the week before, so I did have some background. But just to confirm, would this have the full functionality of an ATS, for example, including interview scheduling and feedback, rolling up the feedback and all of that? Or would this be more like a bolt-on where I can do an API-based integration into my existing ATS?
Yeah, I can answer that. So So Naren, the way it works is that this is basically an independent application. But if you really would like to have the APIs integrated into your system, we can always expose the APIs as a reason, and that can be integrated with that. For example, when an applicant applies for a position and they have any questions in it, and they could always can ask the questions to a chatbot, and that could really answer to it. Once they're good with it, they could always schedule the meeting with the chatbot as well too. So, and to that level, and we're also building a virtual bot that can actually take the interviews, and you would not be able to identify if it's really Srini is there and taking the interview, or it's actually the bot. So, and they can take the interview about it, do the initial round of screenings, everything else, and provide you the complete results. So this will actually save a lot of time for the technical team and also the rest of the teams as well too.
I think that's helpful. That answers my question, because there could be a situation where I interview, let's say we put 5 people through the process, and 3 of them are fairly good candidates. For whatever reason, we pick on that one person. The other 2 are not necessarily bad candidates, right? We may want to go back and revisit. So I'd like to have the feedback and the assessments flow into my areas so that I can mine that later. So I get so it can be integrated.
And one more interesting part is, for example, if the candidate is attending the level 1 of interview, now the level 2 is taken by some other person. You never know if the same person who joined the level 1 is actually taking the level 2 interview as well too. So, but with this, you can actually know the biometrics, which is the voice and face biometrics, which can tell you like, yes, the same person who applied for the position, attended the level 1, is actually attending level 2 as well.
Got it. Now, I did make a note of that. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. So I'd suggest all of you please make use of the free assessments that we provided, and you can reach out to either John or Srini for any of these things, like to set up your data mining and AI engine to prioritize, and also for the interview using AI and computer vision. You can always reach out to Srini for massive cold email outreach and the IT sales IQ assessment. John and myself, I'm always available. So yeah. And thank you, everybody. Miguel, you don't have any questions as such if before we close in?
No, thank you, Raj. I can see, and I'm gonna check it out about the assessment.
All right. Perfect. So I'm glad all of you could attend this, and hope it has been an insightful session for everybody. Before closing, John and Srini, if you'd like to give your closing words.
Srini, go ahead. You can start.
Yeah, great. I can first of all thank you, TALSMART, for providing this opportunity. It's a great pleasure to be telling about our product and how it works. I was not, and I'll be very happy to help and support in case of any of the questions as well too. Thank you, John.
Yep.
You've been a great speaker. Yeah, thank you.
Yep. Oh, thank you, Srini. Yeah, I just want to thank everybody for attending and taking your time out of a busy schedule. And hopefully that the information was definitely informative for you and can provide true value to your organization to help you better perform in what you're trying to do and accomplish within your organization and function. Appreciate it.
Perfect. Thank you, everybody. Have a good day. Bye.
That's the one.